Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming's The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 13, Bloodshed at Hilltop. It is going down in an earlier round. I mean, it is going to be big time. I am looking forward to this episode just like last week. I know last week we were asking the rankings and people were saying 9, 9.5, 10. I think this one's going to be even better. There is one writing flaw that I will mention for this week's episode. But other than that, I am super stoked to see what's going to happen. The last half has been so good. And we got super chats all over the place. Hey, what's up, everybody? Want to say, I saw Scott. Scott, your question is coming up. And, of course, Valar with the super chat wants to say what's up to Kill, Steph, Emmy, Kels, Sweet Tommy, and all of the sponsors and the Patreons even. So I know Wilson is one of the sponsors. Vonda's one of the sponsors. Pete's one of the sponsors. And we got some things for those guys. You can see the little badge over by Wilson's name. So that's one of the things that comes with it. There will be some custom emojis coming out very soon. I just got to find a little more time to work that out. But thank you for everything that you guys do. And thank you for being here. I know the weather's got some people bogged in. But if you're bogged in, as long as you've got internet, you can listen in. This is our podcast. People all over the country, actually all over the world. We've got listeners from UK, Canada, Australia. I know that's kind of one of the big three areas, but if you're from somewhere else that I didn't mention outside the United States, type it up. I want to give you a shout out as well. So let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Moderators, you guys can just keep a lookout for Scott's question. I always miss it somewhere along the way, but we'll get to him. So as I stated, this episode is, I think it's where it really starts to go down. The battle between feeding the people, because we've got the 38 saviors that are there, and then Simon just wanting to take everybody out of commission. It does look as if Rick gets there in time to participate in this battle, but how much impact he will have, I don't know. So I'm going to ask the group this question. We might as well start out with, I just got to be brutally honest, and if I'm leading the Hilltop, I'm doing something a little bit different here. So in the preview, we saw they just come up the same path. We know that they're driving right to the front gate. And we know they have lookouts. No offense to Maggie, no offense to Gregory, but since they have lookouts, could the next leader of the Hilltop just ambush them as they're driving up? I mean, there's a lot of bushes on the side there. Wouldn't you just start, like, you know, throwing things at their truck, shooting through the windows, doing something before they get to the gates of Hilltop? Just a little bit of guerrilla warfare. So question for all the group here. If you were leading the Hilltop, what would you do to try to win this war? When I saw the truck going up, I'm like, what are they going to do? Just wait for them to drive through the front gate? And the other thing is I think they actually park. So in retrospect, if I'm Simon, I'm driving right through the front gate. I'm not wasting any time. I'm not going to get out and, you know, pull my weapons. Now, I didn't see that far into it. I'm just making the assumption that they're just going to kind of walk up and hope that they surrender is probably what they're trying for. Yeah, exactly, Maggie. Snipers in treetops. Well, Wilson, with Alexandria, it might have been a little tougher because, honestly, they thought Negan was pinned in. So that part I could get. But they've got advance warning on this one. Shanny, they don't have landmines. I don't think they do. They could be, because Zelda says put bear traps in the road. Okay, that I would probably do. Exactly, Ultra Group. Preemptive strikes, that's exactly what they should have done. Flatten all the tires. Well, I mean, they have nails. They could have done that. You know, just put some 2x4s in the middle of the street with nails and then make them walk up the hill. By the time they walk up that hill, it's over. How many saviors do you think they have storming the Hilltop? Safe estimate here, what do we say, 50? Maybe 50? Could be more. Even 100. Okay, I'll give you 100 saviors. But if they have 100 saviors coming up that hill, you can take at least half of them out. That's the only part that I think that I'm going to have a real problem with in this week's episode. Other than that, I'm going to try to ignore that and just get into the whole fight, because I think the fight is going to be epic. Because we know we're winding down. The war is going to end in 4 episodes. What's up, Jonathan Black? Thanks. Hey, I appreciate you being here. I know you've been listening in a little bit, but at least at least check out the playbacks. You know what? Absolutely. This is Rick Fisher with a super chat, and he says he and his girl Mary Beth are watching together. Been listening since Walking Dead Road to Survival videos. So, Rick, I want to thank you and Mary Beth. Appreciate your support. There'll probably be another game, maybe Fortnite or something. I might get into some type of game and stream for you guys. You kind of know where I stand with Road to Survival. Love the game, love being a part of that community. But when they went 6 stars, it was just a little bit much for me. But thank you. I appreciate your support. I know some people have been here for since Road to Survival. I'm going to ask that question again. I do like to ask it every once in a while. And then we got the Jedi 1. Love you, bro. Keep up the great work. God bless. Thank you so much. Appreciate both of you guys. And all the group this year. So, Michelle, you don't want none of this. I'm going to tell you. I'll be all pay to play. So, just kind of curious, and we'll get back into The Walking Dead in 1 second. If you can remember when you started watching the 999 channel, just type it in chat right now. I know a lot of people started with The Walking Dead, when we were doing theories. Some people a long, long time with sports games. Some people Empires and Allies, Dawn of Titans. Just kind of curious. I know Joe wasn't watching with Road to Survival because he just said, "What's Road to Survival?" Most are The Walking Dead. Michelle, the season when Negan was introduced, Sharon Jackson, Walking Dead theories. I know Jonathan Black was Negan 2 years ago, but also Road to Survival. Shanny D, Road to Survival. Season 7. Say Johnson, 2014. That's definitely like Empires and Allies, way back when. Awesome. Thank you. Hey, appreciate that, everybody. Time flies. It's been a few years, man, and you know, we've done a little bit of everything. We've done rant videos, we've done predictions, we've done spoilers, good predictions, bad predictions. But I think now what is so awesome about the channel is the community. I think in the beginning it was a niche, which niche, help a few people out with some games, do some pack openings, get in some theories. But now it's just such a strong family environment, and it's growing. It's growing really, really fast. Just some awesome stuff and awesome topics, and love you guys. So thank you for everything that you do. All right, I'm going to get all choked up and sentimental here. And Mr. Midnight said I sound like some dude on a Wendy's commercial. No, I'm not doing voiceovers on Wendy's commercials yet. But if they call me, I'm not above it. I'll market their products. Jerry, Ezekiel, and Carol. So we've seen all three. We did get the question answered. Where's Ezekiel? Ezekiel's at Hilltop. He's right beside Carol. I got to tell you guys, something really, really scares me about this week's episode. It's not the fact that people are going to die. But in the description on AMC's channel, and I copied and pasted, you can see where it says Walking Dead episode 11. Obviously, episode 13. That's not the name of the episode, but it says trouble arises when unexpected visitors arrive at Hilltop. So we knew that. But the next line, heartbreaking discoveries are made. That is important. So I got to ask the group right here, right now. And I got to pause that because Tobin just came in with a super chat. But hold on. We're going to answer Tobin's question, and we'll get back to where I'm going with this. So Tobin with the super chat says, anyone think the Saviors more intriguing characters than Rick's gang? Saviors have Simon, Dwight, Negan, but Rick has people like Tara. I think from the subject of intriguing, Tobin, I mean, Negan has a rot, and Negan has the Polaroid guy, and Negan had Gavin. So all of them aren't just really awesome characters. So I think when you look at Rick's group, you got Darryl, you got Rosita. I think I would agree with Sebastian Carpio. I think it's very well balanced. You could definitely pick a couple people here or there and say one group might be stronger than the other. But Rick's group is pretty damn strong. I mean, you got Carol, you got Ezekiel, you got Darryl, and like Darryl said, all of us together, Hilltop, it's going to be their worst damn nightmare. And it might be. I just think the tide is going to turn. Something drastic is going to happen to turn the tide. And we got another super chat. And Epic Vid's question is, will some of the prisoners escape or turn on them? Well, the title is Don't Lead Us Astray. So, or something along that line, sorry. Is it Don't Leave Us Astray? I think that is the Savior's prisoners. One, I think a couple of them are going to die. Because I saw a couple dudes out there with shovels. And looks like dead people in the back of a truck. So, some are going to be executed. Some very well could escape without weapons. I don't know if they're going to escape and run over and pick up weapons from Simon. I think they're going to be kind of sitting ducks. But turn on them, it's a good question. That is going to be probably the million-dollar question for this week's episode, is what happens with those prisoners. Because even if she kills a couple, you still got 36, she kills 4, 34. It's still a lot of head count. And we're going to touch on that in a little bit, though. And also Mike Rowe. Thank you so much, Mike, with the super chat. Would love to answer a question. So I know spreading the love, but if you come up with something a little bit later, just let the moderators know, and we'll get back to your topic. Because I'm sure in the next 15, 20, 30 minutes, you might be able to come up with a question. So let's do it. But either way, thank you so much. Scott, if that was your question, I missed it, but hopefully I was leading along the right path. I'm going to ask this question. If it's not, then go ahead and type it for me again. Heartbreaking discoveries are made. I don't think that's a coincidence. So if you're in battle and it's Hilltop versus the Saviors, you pretty know what you know what's in front of you. You see people dying. It's all happening. But when I see something like heartbreaking discoveries, makes me feel like it's got to be somebody's head on a stake, right? Am I the only person feeling this? So let me know right now. What do you think these heartbreaking discoveries could be? Could it be that someone else has been bitten? Could it be that someone dies, out of camera focus, and then they discover it toward the end? Like, oh my God, Michonne's dead. No, it's not going to happen. But that would be a heartbreaking discovery, right, for everybody. Or could it be that someone has been killed and the group sees it? Sherry or Heath? Or, oh, I like this. DDA Ohio says, Jesus is a traitor. All right, while you're typing that, I got a couple more super chats to catch on. So, Superman Nick. Thank you so much, Superman Nick. But his question is, Darryl's character has been very quiet lately. Do you think Darryl's story arc is come and gone and he will die, and how? So I'm going to give you my Darryl theory. I've mentioned it a couple times. Not probably, a couple people might remember this. I don't think so. I think Darryl has been quiet, but Darryl did try to take the explosives. Him and Rick got in a fight. Darryl tried to end the war. We saw how that happened. So the story's just not centered around him, but I would say I don't think Darryl's story's over. Darryl is a star of the show. He's not somebody they want to leave. I do think that possibly somebody's, if it's Sherry's head on a pike, Sherry's head on a stake, Darryl and Dwight might be that team. I'm going to predict it. I'm not giving up on this. And I promise you guys, if this happens, I need you to go back and remind all the haters out there from the time that I started saying this a year ago that Dwight is going to come around, Dwight is going to be a part of Team Rick, and Dwight and Darryl are going to be the tag team that is going to work together. I don't know when the timestamp happened, but I'm going to tell you, I was in some streams and I caught a lot of flack. And if I'm wrong, I'll catch more. But that is my theory, and I'm going to stick with it. And I feel like it's one of those I still feel pretty good about at this point. I've been wrong. I'll be wrong again, but just throwing it out there. So we'll get to the group and ask the group the same question in a bit. And I do remember Matt Gaming. So MM Clout, thank you so much, MM. And thanks for being a longtime viewer and a longtime supporter of the channel. All right, I think I am caught up with some of the super chats for now. So, sorry, I'm going to ask just for a real quick repeat. Maybe a few of you typed the answer. Heartbreaking discoveries. And I got to go up and find Scott's question again. I got you, Scott. Now you're just making it a little bit tougher, though. Scott's follow-up question. In regards to the finale title, what will Rick do in an episode or future episode that will be the reason it's named Wrath? I think I briefly touched on this last night. Last night was a rough stream. I was trying to get through it. With the recap, I'll explain at another time. Wrath could go several different ways. We know my mercy prevails over my wrath. But, Scott, the problem with that is we don't know if Rick is saying it in like an epiphany, he's just, oh, okay, now it all makes sense, or if he's saying it in a very almost sarcastic type of tone. Think about how this could play out. If Rick killed Negan, which I don't think he's going to kill Negan, he could say, my mercy prevails over my wrath. Like, as if it was supposed to. And the title could be Wrath. Rick showed his wrath. He showed he couldn't do it. He couldn't carry through on Carl's promise. Or, the promise that he made to Carl. Or, maybe he spares Negan, and it's an internal wrath he's dealing with. That as long as Negan's around, he's always going to be fighting against himself not to want to kill Negan. Which could be harder for Rick than actually killing him. So it's a fair question. I just don't know that we can read anything into the title at this point. Hopefully that gives you a good answer and food for thought for the group to think about. Carol Brothers Payette with a super chat. Thank you, Carol. She says, is the fight at the Hilltop the end of the war? Well, we've got 4 episodes. So I could see the fight at the Hilltop spanning 2 of those episodes, 13 and 14. And then some of the consequence after that. We've heard pretty strong spoiler confirmation that there's going to be a second lineup. Eugene's still making the bullets. So all that has to play out. 15, 16, probably the beginning of 16. So if we're trying to fill the voids here, I do think you get 2 weeks worth of Hilltop battle. So this week and next week, Hilltop. Then I think you're going to probably bring the Oceanside into it, or at least some of the people from the Oceanside. Not a filler story, but 15 could be setting up that final lineup. But I don't think everything that's going to happen at the Hilltop is all going to happen this week. So I wouldn't say that's going to end the war. I think what's going to end the war is the blanks. Is Negan's going to say, kill everybody, and the bullets are going to be what does Negan's man in. So, Lieutenant OU Crawfish from the 999 Army, reporting for duty. Sir, he says, if baby Glenn dies, we'll slightly argue the lighter. I don't think baby Glenn is going to die. I think they're going to work it out. Let's have faith that Maggie comes back to the show. And, you know, that's another one. We get asked to predict that quite a bit. There's just no way to tell. There's no way at this point to decide whether or not they're going to write Maggie in or write her off. I mean, it all depends on money. And with that, we do have a birthday celebration. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. So just want to say happy birthday to Sheila Beasley. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of the 999 Army. And thank you to everyone for wishing her a happy birthday. What an awesome group. So tonight, as we talk about the Hilltop, we've got several new people. I've already seen several new faces. A couple hundred people here. So two things while we're getting into the next topic of the Hilltop that I'm going to try to get through this. Carol wondered then how they could see a head on a spike. Carol, there could be multiple heads on the spike. Now, we know Ezekiel and Rosita are from the comics. I feel like it's going to be Heath and Sherry. Maggie's got a couple options. They could turn Maggie completely dark, or they could make her, one of the fallen for the Whisper of War. Or they could just pick an off-the-wall way for her to die after she gives birth. They don't sign her to a full-time contract. They could sign her to a temporary contract. I mean, one thing that's so good about the actors on The Walking Dead is most don't try to leverage them or leave them hanging. I think, most respect the character and the history behind The Walking Dead. And even if they couldn't come to terms on something for a whole season, they would work it out. Chris says, do you think Henry shoots some of the prisoners? Well, Henry does pick up a gun. So it is not out of the realm of possibility that it is Henry that kills a couple of the prisoners and they end up burying them. I absolutely think that's a possibility. That could be heartbreaking discovery. What if, they're releasing them 2 by 2, right, under surveillance? Maybe Henry executes a couple of them and they find them. That could be a possibility. He could start going dark, man. Philomena says, that little dude will cruise around. Yeah. Got to watch him. Becca Boland says, does Negan know that Maggie is pregnant? That's a good question because let's think through this. Morales knows. I'm going to say no. Because I think the only person that Rick has talked to is Morales, because he says he killed Glenn and he had a pregnant wife. And I think that's the only time I've heard him mention that. Can anyone think of a situation where it's been communicated to anyone other than Morales? Superman Mike says he knows, but I don't think he does. Yeah, I'm reading through a few of the comments. People watching the playback, feel free to leave in the comments whether or not you think that Negan knows. If I had to gamble, I'd say no. I mean, because he did say that he wanted Rick, Ezekiel, Rick the king, and the widow's head on a pike or a stake. So if he knew Maggie was pregnant, he wouldn't have made that comment. I'm pretty certain he does not know. But thank you for that. It's a good question. It's a good storyline to really dig into and think. Okay, jumping back into it, this is my real quick commercial break. So those of you watching, we do have some new people in the chat for the first time. 220, 230, 250 people back and forth. If all of you could do me a favor, all the members of the 999 Army, please slap the like button. Just show your support for this group, for our moderators, for us being here every night. I know you're here, but just slide that mouse over to the left and just hit it one time so people can see the strength of the 999 Army. Also, once this video goes live, make sure you leave a lot of comments. If I don't get a chance to answer your question, I know they're streaming along the side. Ask it in comments, and if you see someone else ask a question, comment on their question as well. The interaction is just, that's what really keeps this thing rolling. Also, real quick, I want to talk about some of our other streams. So I'll just start with Sunday because Sunday seems to be our big day. Sunday at noon, we do Walking Dead Junkies, past, present, and future. Then at 8 o'clock, we do Walking Dead Countdown before The Walking Dead. And then after The Talking Dead, we do a reaction video. However, this Sunday, we're actually going to do it after The Walking Dead because there's the Terror that's going to be on, and Talking Dead will be on really, really late. So it'll be after The Walking Dead episode, probably about 10:15ish. We also have some other streams on two of our other channels, which is 999 Dead. We'll talk a little bit of fear. We'll talk some other theories as well. And also we have 999 Spoilers, which will give you extended spoilers once we post the spoilers. So that's a little bit of what's going on. Secondly, if this is your first stream, and I know there's several people in here for the first time, if you could type a quick 444 in chat, because I'd like for all the Army that's here, first of all, to welcome you to be a part of what we do. Hit the subscribe button, jump over, join us on the Facebook Walking Dead 999 Army page. I don't think you're going to find a more cohesive group anywhere on the internet. It's a great group to be a part of. This group, it's a joy to work with every single day. So I want to give a shout out to Mark Fair. Also, I Wonder. Who else we got? Jane777. I see a few new faces. Mike Rose, fairly new as well. Right Side of Elections, been in a few streams. Marianne, 999 Army, thank you for being here. Trenton Lopez, appreciate you being here. Looky Lou, also. So, if you like what we're doing here, as I said, hit that like button, subscribe, come back and see us again. All right, a couple more topics that we want to talk about is I got to bring up Dwight because I'm not going to concede that Chris Reinig is right yet. But I'm a little concerned, Chris, because they are really focusing in on Dwight's crossbow in the teaser video. We see Rick with the weapon, and then Dwight is holding it right by his side. At this point, he may just miss and hit Rick. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't want to go out on a limb either way because I still think that Rick wound is at the very end. I think it's after he fights Negan. But I'm just a little concerned at this point that Dwight has went along with the Saviors as far as he has. I don't think Dwight's there to kill anybody. And I do think that Dwight is going to turn on the Saviors. In fact, I know he's going to turn on the Saviors. I'm not even thinking. But I'm wondering if he's going to try to fire a few shots and try to save someone and accidentally hit Rick. And the optics of that are really, really bad. Because he wasn't aiming at Denise, and he hit Denise, and we all see what happens with that. And The Walking Dead is a world of coincidence. And, you hit Denise the first time, and you get out of it, but then you shoot another one, you hit Rick. That's going to be hard for him to get out of. That is correct, James. So, but prior to that, see, that's what I don't know. I don't know if Rick is still 100%, the guns explode, he chases Negan down. I think there's going to be one more fight scene between Rick and Negan. And Simon's fate is pretty important as well. See, that's what I think can go down in episode 15. If we're talking about our filler episode, let's say the Hilltop happens in 13 and 14. Negan and Jadis work out some kind of deal where Jadis gets her time with Simon, and Negan takes Dwight prisoner. That's the way I think it's going to go down, because the information that we've heard is that Dwight will be a prisoner. He'll have the orange jumpsuit. He'll have the A. Father G and Eugene are making the blank bullets. The bullets blow up, and Negan wants to kill Eugene, and Dwight steps in. And at that point, Dwight is a prisoner. So in 15 could be where Simon actually dies at the hands of Jadis. That would make probably the most sense at this point. Right side of elections, I didn't say Simon won't die. I said that I think it would be a waste of a good villain. And I stick by that. But that was before I knew that Jadis was going to Uber ride Negan. And now it's just starting to make a little bit more sense. It's starting to play out a little bit more. There's a lot of things, if I was writing, that I could do with Simon as a villain. But having Jadis torture him probably wasn't so bad either. You know what, Chris? I don't disagree. If Jadis puts him in that meat grinder, I got in trouble for calling it a meat grinder. Car crusher, whatever it's called. It's a meat grinder. It grinded them. In 15, would that not be epic if she forced him to get in that thing live? Whew. Great comment. You know, that might be as compactor. Okay, fair enough. That might be as good as the mixologist theory that we had, that Negan is on the other side of the tree. So let me play this out. I'll kind of talk through it, and you guys can let me know, agree, disagree, if there's a couple small tweaks to it. So 13 is the trip to, thank you so much for that super chat, Melinda Kettler. Appreciate your contribution to the 999 channel. And then I got Villar jumping in here. So I'm going to do a quick recap and sort of talk us through how this episode could play out. So this is a Dracarys Dragon Bomb. I love it. Everybody's got their own name for their theories. Is it possible that Negan does team up with Jadis to give her Simon and then kills Jadis like a certain someone in the comics? You mean like Alpha? I think Jadis might exact her revenge and disappear. I'm still not convinced she can't be Alpha. I'm not convinced that she can't form another group for a time skip. So, you know what? And I'll actually add that Dracarys Firebomb, Dragon Bomb. Let's think through this for a second. All right. So this week's episode, we start out, we got Morgan flashing back. He sees Gavin. He sees the ghost of Gavin. It sets the stage for Morgan leaving the show. So we know that's going to happen. That's going to be the first 5 minutes of the show. And then, of course, you got your commercials. And then everybody starts blowing the horn. But prior to that, Simon is going to pull over and he's going to have the conversation with Maggie, where Maggie says, I got 38 of your men, and I got exactly 38 bullets, and I will put one in each one of them. So then there's the threat. Then there's the preparation. Then we got little Henry walking around with a gun. So you could have Henry killing a couple of the prisoners. Right? So these are all things that are going to fill a little bit of time. We're probably going to get to see a little bit more of the Negan-Jadis conversation. It's important that Negan is in the car with Jadis and that Negan knows exactly what happened. That is paramount, because the fact that Rick told him, if Negan was in that car and he didn't know, but now he has a little bit of psychological leverage. He can basically tell Jadis, look, I gave the order to send a threat. He did that on his own. I'll get you Simon. All right, so by 45 minutes into the episode, we probably still don't have fighting at Hilltop. So the last 10, 15 minutes, I think, is where the battle goes down. And I don't think that's enough to end the battle at Hilltop. There's a lot of people there. But they got to get in position, do all the things that they do. So I think this battle will carry over into 14. And then 14 will be the whole Hilltop battle, and then however it ends, it ends. Probably Negan showing up at Hilltop, taking his prisoner, and then the shocking moment of that could very well be Simon, hey, boss, you're back, and then giving Simon to Jadis. So I'm okay with that. Then 15 could really be the retribution and getting ready of what's going to happen with these prisoners. Because this lineup supposedly does not happen at Hilltop. It happens in a area very similar to where we see Rick with the tree, is what we've heard. So, and Negan gets away for a little bit, so he kind of runs into the woods. So 15 could be what Jadis does to Simon, and I'm totally cool with her taking him back and saying you're going to suffer the same fate of what goes on. A little bit of torture. So that whole show could be Dwight being a prisoner, getting ready to end the war, maybe making it like a ceremony. Like, this is the way we're going to do it, and this is going to end it once and for all. We're going to make the point. You know, I had the chance to really... Rick didn't take me up on my deal. Now we're going to finish this thing once and for all. No excuses. And then 15 would make sense to have the second, the lineup, bullets exploding, and then the final fight between Rick and Negan. Not confirmed, but as I'm kind of working through it a little bit, I could see that time frame working itself out. So Scott says episode 14 is 75 minutes long. So if episode 14 is 75 minutes long, then that would be the majority of the Hilltop fight. So I've given you sort of my mental scenario of how I think it's going to play out. There's going to be a lot of deaths over the next 2 weeks. Tweak it. Let me see your thoughts. If you're watching the playback at home, if you're not part of the live stream, leave your theory in the comments, and if you're here, leave a couple theories. I do want to say one awesome thing about our channel compared to some forums that are out there. We discuss these things in real time. Some things are going to be confirmed. Some things are going to be theories and the psychology of the writer, the characters, all of those things. So if you're part of 909 Gaming, prepare to get some. You're going to get some wrong. Sometimes we just don't nail it down, but when we do, it feels awfully good. Lieutenant Crawfish reporting to duty says, will Simon get a session with Easy Street for Jadis? No, Simon will not be given the Easy Street treatment. He's going to be given the Hard Street treatment. It's going to be rougher than Easy Street. I think we're going to see a side of Jadis. You know what? I'm going to add one more to it. I don't even think she'll burn Simon's face. What if she cuts Simon's face off and uses his face to start the Whisperer movement? What if that's our big hit? Maybe she just chops, just kind of like Face Off, like a Nicolas Cage movie with John Travolta. Leave that thought. I'm kind of thinking through that. Superman, we got a lot of Supermen in here. So Superman Nick brought in Superman Mike and Mark Fair. They are new subscribers, and thank you so much. Appreciate you guys sharing the word. So thank you for helping to build this channel. We're going to keep growing. More people share the videos, like the videos, and talk about what we do. Also, I think Timothy, maybe Timothy Young, sent me a picture on Facebook Messenger rocking a 999 Army hat and shirt, and appreciate that support. So make sure you guys hype it up. So here's a couple people like, oh, wait a minute. Or Simon. I don't see Simon and Jadis working together at all. So for Simon to be a male alpha, Jadis would have to go in a different direction. Shani D's like, that's a possibility. I mean cutting off his face, Joel, like starting at the top and just peeling his face off. Something that would be brutal. Red Elastic says, Negan will kill Simon. I don't think so. I'm really feeling that Negan is going to trade and say, here you go. I understand what he did to your people. You take care of it. Look, I know it's a theory, but it's not the worst theory we've ever come up with. I'm not that dark, Joan. And Joni's like, Kills, you're very dark. No, I'm just thinking through this stuff as we go. Like, what could Walking Dead do? Make me a writer for Walking Dead for one season. I will promise you. You will not. Ratings will not go down. Scott, call me. I got some ideas. I got some stuff for the group. I will get this thing. You will spike in ratings like you've never spiked before. We got about 2 more minutes and we're going to wind the stream down. This has been, you guys have asked me to do longer streams. We were rocking 30 minutes on the nose, and then now we get into these topics. We're almost at 45 minutes. So I'm going to take a couple more comments. Anybody wants to post, we'll jump around a little bit. And let me see if I got any other topics. Like I said, Chris, the fact that the camera zoomed in on Dwight's crossbow a little bit tells me something's going to go down with Dwight. Plus, he's totally uncomfortable in that situation. He's got to find a way to jump in and get his help in some way. No news about Tara yet, but I think Tara could be a casualty. I think this week or next week is going to be her last episode. I would be shocked if she makes it through the end of the season. Simon gets Winslowed. You know what? Lee Bird wants to know what happens to Lucille. Lucille's sterilized now. I mean, she's been caught on fire. If the guts do infect people, not going to work on Lucille. They're cooked in. They're cooked into the bat now. And Negan doesn't have his bucket of guts. Jane777 wants to know if Negan knew that Maggie was pregnant, would he still kill Glenn? Sure. I don't think he had a problem killing Glenn. He wouldn't kill Maggie. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to end with a cliffhanger. I do think, well, it depends on how you define cliffhanger. I mean, every season could end with some sort of cliffhanger because, oh, they're giving a speech. What's going to happen next season? So I think it's kind of a sort of a paradox when you say cliffhanger, right? I don't think we're going to get all the answers, and there will be some things that we won't find out until next season. Not to that degree of who's dead. I think we're going to know who's dead and who's alive. But the fate of Negan, I still feel like there's going to be a time skip. All right, everybody, we're going to wind the stream down. We have hit 46 minutes. I want to thank all of you for being here. But guess what? We're going to do this again tomorrow night at 9:30. So we will have a brand new topic. Of course, we'll talk about this week's episode. We're going to mix it up a little bit. So we can't get all of our thoughts, all of our ideas out there in one episode. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody being here. Here's just a little something that we do for the people watching the playback. You can check out. You can go ahead. The video's over pretty much for you guys at this point. For the people that are still here, I like to do as many shout-outs as I possibly can. And we're gonna be up to the point with thousands and thousands of people here, and I'm going to be doing shout-outs for 5 minutes. So that's why I want to let everybody watching at home know, if you're watching the playback, you don't have to stick around for this, because I'm going to butcher people's names. I'm going to mess up on some stuff. But it's never going to change, and it's just me showing just my thank you for all the people that take time out of their schedule and show up here. That's the way we do it. So anybody that's still here, give me a quick 999. I'm going to miss some people. If I miss you, I'll catch you on the next one. So here we go. DDA Ohio, thanks for being here. Mambo55, Rubelo's channel, thank you for being here. Paranormal, appreciate you. Joni Tucker, Guppet Master, Lieutenant OU Crawfish in the house, Michelle Yang, Superman Nick, Gene Atkins, Madison Dickey, Tommy V, Jane 777, Chris Rainig, Chris Brackney. We got all kind of Chris's in here. Tobin McLeod, Trenton Lopez, thank you so much. Lenore Smith. Also, I am part of the Walking Dead 999 Army. Jonathan Black, my brother. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Appreciate you being here. We got Desmond. Thank you, Desmond. Wow, you guys are like super, super quick with this. I can't keep up with everybody. Desmond Miller, Joe Fulford, Beth Burgett, Deborah Mooney, Jimmy Henry. Thank you. The Cat Nat, Michael McVeigh, Pieces, 200,368. Mr. Midnight, Jack Carr, Death Row, Peter Graham Cross, Lee Bird, Sensational, Right Side of Elections 2018, Sebastian Carpio, Scott Kernan, Walani, Rob King, Mark Fair, a new subscriber as well. So we got Superman Mark, Superman Nick, Superman Rick, Superman Dick, Superman everybody in the house. All the Superman are here. Thanks, everybody. Timothy Young, Molly Lowerman, Jason McLaughlin, Meat Grinder, Carlisle RR, 1189 Paris, Chris Salisbury, Carolyn Fritz, the Hippo will always be in the house. Epic Vids, Wilson, Gina Crockett, James Prowlett, Pat Sanzone, Mag, Zay Johnson, Michelle Wolf, Pebbles Howell, thank you, Marianne Delonzo, I think I got it right, Promageddon, Carol Brothers Payette. Also, you can see all my patrons over on the left side. I still got to update a couple. It's been a busy week. And also, of course, my sponsors. There's a sponsor button down below. I'm going to check to see if that's updated, but I know there's at least 3 people in the stream. Wilson, Pete D. Pete's crazy working schedule. He does pop in when he can, but I know Pete D. is watching the playback. And also Vonda Martin. Thank you so much. Who else we got here? Oh, we're going through. I saw Ron Burgundy, Chevy V, Zelda Faz, David Sizemore, all my moderators, Bree, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kel, Worth Thompson, Mindy Goodman, thank you so much. A lot of you guys have not slapped the like button. Just reach over and hit the like button with Lucille one time, people. Come on now. Charlie Amos, thank you so much. Mike Blanco, James Irvin. Teleprompter President, thank you so much. Ultra Groove, less groove tonight. Football stuff worldwide, thank you. Randall Roundtree. Singular Super Ninja, thank you so much. Shanny D, a.k.a. Little Michonne. I think that's one of the first nicknames I gave out. Actually, that might have been the first nickname. I think that was before Tommy and Steph and all the rest of them. Petey Wheatstraw, thank you. I'm going to try to work your Petey bomb into one of these episodes this week, Petey. Bumblebee Brown, appreciate you being here. Garrett Farmer, Melinda Kettler. No lie, my moderators are awesome. You will not find better moderators on any YouTube channel anywhere. Trust me when I tell you that. They are the most awesome, most reliable, most personable group you will find on the internet. Such a joy to work with. What's up, Scammer Trolling? Thank you for being here. Brene, thank you. Ryan Andrews, appreciate you being here. All right, a ton of shout-outs. I know I didn't hit everybody. If I missed anybody, it's going to happen from time to time. Appreciate you being here, but if I don't catch you in this one, hold on. I saw a few more people jumping under the radar that I might have missed. Walking Dead Nerd, I see you. Rob King, Northside Queen, Sven Grimstad, thank you for being here. And with that, we're going to wind this thing down. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you at 9:30 tomorrow night. If you guys want to message me, you got a Walking Dead theory. You can also send it on Kik at KILZHOT. Talk to you soon. Peace.